Preface. At last, the miracle cure all smokers have been waiting for. Instantaneous, equally effective for the light or heavy smoker. No bad withdrawal pangs. No willpower required. No shock treatment, no aids or gimmicks required. No weight gain. Permanent. Perhaps you're somewhat apprehensive about listening to this book. Perhaps, like the majority of smokers, the mere thought of stopping fills you with panic. And although you have every intention of stopping one day, today is not that day. If you're expecting me to inform you of the terrible health risks that smokers run, the smokers spend a small fortune during their smoking lives, that it is a filthy, disgusting habit, and that you are a stupid, spineless, weak-willed jellyfish, then I must disappoint you. Those tactics never helped me to quit, and if they were going to help you, you would already have quit. My method, which I call Easy Way, doesn't work that way. You might find some of the things that I'm about to say difficult to believe. However, by the time you've finished this book, you'll not only believe them, but you'll also wonder how you could ever have been brainwashed into believing otherwise. There is a common misapprehension that we choose to smoke. Smokers no more choose to smoke than alcoholics choose to become alcoholics, or heroin addicts choose to become heroin addicts. It is true that we choose to light those first experimental cigarettes. I occasionally choose to go to the movies, but I certainly didn't choose to spend my whole life in a movie theatre. Please reflect on your life. Did you ever make the positive decision that at certain times in your life you couldn't enjoy a meal or a social occasion without smoking? Or that you couldn't concentrate or handle stress without a cigarette? At what stage did you decide that you needed cigarettes, not just for social occasions, but permanently in your presence, and felt insecure, even panic-stricken, without them? Like every other smoker, you've been lured into the most sinister, subtle trap that man and nature have combined to devise. There is not a parent on this planet, whether smoker or non-smoker, who likes the thought of his or her children smoking. This means that all smokers wish they had never started. Not surprising, really. No one needs cigarettes to enjoy meals or cope with stress before he or she gets hooked. At the same time, all smokers wish to continue to smoke. After all, no one forces us to keep lighting up. Whether we understand the reason or not, it is only smokers themselves who decide to light up. If there were a magic button that smokers could press to wake up the following morning as if they had never lit that first cigarette, the only smokers who would remain tomorrow morning would be those who are still at the experimental stage. The only thing that prevents us from quitting is fear. Fear that we will have to survive an indeterminate period of misery, deprivation, and unsatisfied craving in order to be free. Fear that a meal or social occasion will never be quite as enjoyable without a cigarette. Fear that we will never be able to concentrate, handle stress, or be as confident without our little crutch. Fear that our personality and character will change. But most of all, the fear of once a smoker, always a smoker. That we will never be completely free, and will spend the rest of our lives craving the occasional cigarette. If, as I did, you've already tried all the conventional ways to quit, and have been through the misery of what I describe as the willpower method of stopping, you'll not only be affected by that fear, but you'll also be convinced you can never quit. If you're apprehensive, panic-stricken, or feel that the time is not right for you to give up, then let me assure you that your apprehension or panic is caused by fear. The fear is not relieved by cigarettes, but created by them. You didn't decide to fall into the nicotine trap, but like all traps, it's designed to ensure that you remain trapped. Ask yourself, when you lit those first experimental cigarettes, did you decide to remain a smoker as long as you have? So when are you going to quit? Tomorrow? Next year? Stop kidding yourself. The trap is designed to hold you for life. Why else do you think all those smokers don't quit before it kills them? This book was first published in 1985 and has appeared constantly on the bestseller lists since then. I now have almost 20 years' feedback, and as you'll soon see, the feedback has revealed information that has exceeded my wildest aspirations of the effectiveness of my method. It has also revealed two aspects of Easy Way that have caused me concern. The second I'll be covering later. The first arose from the letters that I've received. Here are 3 typical examples. I didn't believe the claims you made, and I apologize for doubting you. It was just as easy and enjoyable as you said it would be. I've given copies of your book to all my smoking friends and relatives, but I can't understand why they don't read it. I was given your book 8 years ago by an ex-smoking friend. I've just got around to reading it. My only regret is that I wasted 8 years. I've just finished reading Easy Way. I know it has only been 4 days, but I feel so great. I know I'll never need to smoke again. I first started to read your book 5 years ago, got halfway through and panicked. I knew that if I went on reading, I would have to stop. Wasn't I silly? No, that particular young woman wasn't silly. I've referred to a magic button. Easy Way works just like that magic button. Let me make it quite clear. Easy Way isn't magic, but for me and the hundreds of thousands of ex-smokers who have found it so easy and enjoyable to quit, it seems like magic. Every smoker wants to quit, and every smoker can find it easy and enjoyable to quit. It's only fear that prevents them from doing so. We have a chicken and egg situation. The greatest gain is to be rid of that fear. But you won't be free of that fear until you complete the book. On the contrary, like the woman in the 3rd example, your fear might increase as you read the book, and it might prevent you from finishing it. You didn't decide to fall into the trap, but be clear in your mind, you won't escape from it unless you make a positive decision to do so. You might already be straining at the leash to quit. On the other hand, you might be apprehensive. Either way, please bear in mind, you have absolutely nothing to lose. If at the end of this book you decide that you wish to continue to smoke, there's nothing to prevent you from doing so. You don't even have to cut down or stop smoking while you're listening to this book. And remember, there is no shock treatment. On the contrary, I have only good news for you. Can you imagine how the Count of Monte Cristo felt when he finally escaped from that prison? That's how I felt when I escaped from the nicotine trap. That's how the millions of ex-smokers who have used my method feel. By the end of this book, that's how you will feel. Go for it. If you're a smoker, all you have to do is listen on. If you're a non-smoker buying this book for loved ones, all you have to do is persuade them to listen to it. If you can't persuade them, then listen to the book yourself, and the last chapter will advise you how to get the message across, and how to prevent your children from starting. Don't be fooled by the fact that your kids say they hate smoking now. All children do, before they become hooked.